Hans, welcome back to the show. Congratulations. This game, it started off as early as move 2. There was no opening preparation. He surprised you because he usually doesn't play the Sicilian. In fact, at move 1, tell us about your reaction and how did you approach that game?
Yeah, well, he's been playing c5 in Blitz. Like at the Levitov tournament, he played a lot of c5 online. I don't know the last time he played c5 in a classical game. It must be years. Maybe you guys can check. I don't. In classical is quite a surprise, but I checked like a couple of his games in c5, e6, but I didn't prepare anything. But I guess I had a nice counter surprise.
What was your counter surprise?
Well, the c3, e5 idea. The funny thing about this is that I was playing in Mexico with the World Juniors, and next to me there's a game like Jan Subel against Rudik Makarian. And I saw that this idea was played, and I was so impressed by the idea. And honestly, I've never checked this line once in my life. But it looked nice. I thought it would be a nice surprise. And like from what I remember of the game, that seemed like enough preparation. So I guess the fact that I don't pay enough attention to my own games helped me out here. Because I remember seeing this game next to me and being so impressed by what was happening. So that's why I decided to go for this line. And it worked out well because obviously he's not going to be aware of this type of sideline if it's his first time playing this type of idea.
Absolutely. Still, it was a very imbalanced, very complex game, but it felt like you just understood the position better. At this point, after bishop takes c4, queen takes c4, how did you assess it? Obviously, he was trying to start an attack on the king's side, but finally you got the light square bishop, you have the two bishops advantage. It felt good from a practical perspective coming from your side. Did you feel the same way?
Yeah, no, I felt very, very good here. I think once I saw h5, I thought this is the biggest bluff in the world. I'm not going to. Okay, maybe it's a fine move, but I don't really. h5 with the idea of h4 is definitely not working. So I was not worried about opening up my own f file. So this was good. Yeah, I guess g4. Yeah, so this was good. Yeah, g4.
G4 was
yeah,
good.
he mentioned after the game that he should have played knight h4. After knight d4, it felt very, very bad. Yeah, take, rook f3 was my idea, yeah. And then, oh no, bishop h4, rook f3. And I wasn't sure. Oh, I didn't see rook c8. But yeah, I have like rook h3. I saw this rook f3, rook h3 maneuver, but I wasn't sure how to evaluate, but I thought there's no way I'm not better here.
Is that what you guys were discussing after the game?
No, he just told me that he missed after knight f d4 that I could play bishop takes d4. That's all we discussed.
Yeah, bishop takes d4. And when did you feel like you're... By the way,
yeah,
I want
like
to ask you
G5.
about this moment.
This move g5.
Yeah, g4, g5 was a very good idea, but after bishop to e3, you had 33 minutes on the clock, and you ended up spending a lot of it, close to 30 minutes on
king
this
f,
king f1.
So king f1, queen e5. That's what I was. b6, I obviously understood that I was fine. So queen takes e5.
Right.
Rook takes b7. Queen takes e4. Bishop takes e4. Rook takes h4. Bishop takes c6. And here, obviously rook a7 is winning, but I was trying to make c5 work. c5. I spent all my time c5, but he has rook h8, rook dh8, bishop g2, and then I thought bishop f4, and I couldn't figure it out.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I saw rook b3. I wasn't sure how to evaluate this.
But this is not that clear, right?
I spent all my time calculating this when just rook takes a7 is just game over. It was very stupid. I think maybe the nerves were affecting me because obviously I should just play rook takes a7. It's just game over. Just
and what's the point of this rook h7 if he goes king rook to h8?
Rook b7. Or just rook b7.
And then there's no mate on h1 because
your bishop so he has to play rook d6, but after bishop g2, it's just game over. I don't know why. Eventually, it took me 30 minutes to realize this, apparently. So, yeah, b6, obviously, like I saw. and I thought I played okay after this. Maybe I wasn't that precise.
Yep,
I was pretty happy with this take.
It
yeah.
was
I
this
played it.
moment when you didn't necessarily let
Rook
him
A6.
back into the game, but you gave him some opportunities.
Oh wow, how is he? Wait. So what was the moment? What can you
G3.
Go? Oh, so
he
this
has
is
to
actually
go right now.
yeah. So 92.
G2. What were
So
you calculating?
yeah, 92. G2. King E3.
Mhm.
Yeah, King E3. Rook H5.
We weren't really sure
Wow.
how to assess this one, whether you have enough
King F2. Rook E5.
for a win, or if he manages.
Yeah, you probably
to...
have 10 only moves in a row, and then maybe you hold.
Right. Right.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, no, it was very difficult with the time situation. He was putting a lot of pressure, so I couldn't really find a clear way.
Still, Hans, I
But,
mean,
I guess.
I think after that you took over the game and you made the best moves in the position. Rook to A3 was very important.
this was. And then 81, yeah, and then he blundered 91. Yeah, this is just dead loss.
Yeah. Well, Hans, congratulations, big victory for you. How do you feel to be beating a 2700 plus level player?
Well, Levon is such a legend, so it's obviously an honor to play against him and to win the game. The last 3 games we've played, actually, the first game I had almost basically a winning position. The second game I had great positions, so I feel like I've showed my good chess in our 3 games. The last year's championship game, even with Black, I was doing well. So of course it's an honor for me to beat him. He's like one of the greatest players of modern times. He was like number 2 in the world for a very long time, or one of the top 10 players. So it means a lot to beat him, and especially after he sort of slipped away the last 2 times. It's nice to win.
It's you and Fabi at the top right now, closely following each other. How do you see this race playing out in the next few rounds?
Well, he did just beat Andrew, who's been struggling. So I guess it'll be sort of crucial to beat him, since he's sort of on paper at least, very he's the target. So I think this will mainly come down to beating sort of the lower seeds, because the top players are quite difficult to beat. So this is a very big win, but I'm playing well. In all 5 games that I've played, I've had a winning position. I was winning against Sam, winning against Darius. So I think that I'm definitely creating chances in the games. I'm outplaying my opponents. I think this game I showed a good level of technique and consistency, and I just need to keep up my level. But I feel like I can outplay anyone, so I'll try to keep playing my best chess.
Katarina, you have a question for Hans?
Yeah, Hans, I have to ask, because during your previous interview, you said that you really enjoy inspiring young minds and you like engaging in community service. So how was your community service during the rest day?
It was great. What we did is we had basically we played on the board that people. What's the
Demo board?
The analysis board, the big board that people and we had a
Demonstration
team,
board, yeah.
and it was demonstration board, sorry, and it was we basically played hand and brain, and all of the kids got in a line, and each one would come up and say a piece. So it made things quite interesting because there was varying levels of skill. I actually remember I've been thinking about this game. So basically, maybe you can bring up a board. I'd just like to show the game if you can bring up a board. It's very interesting, since you asked and you're so curious.
You got it.
So it was E4, E5, F4, EF, D4, and they played D5. Bishop takes F4, Bishop E6, Bishop B5 check, and then I was really hoping, so here they said Bishop, so I'm trying to think, okay, let's go Bishop B5 check, and they'll see that C6 attacks the Bishop, and then they'll say Bishop, and I can go Bishop D3. But after C6, they said Knight. So after C6, I went Knight C3, C takes B5, Knight takes B5, knight a6, and then now they say pawn. So I said e5, and then they said bishop before check, c3, bishop a5, knight d6, king f8, knight f3, knight e7, castles, and then they went, what did they play? Let me think. What did they play? Trying to think, what did they...
By the way, as you're thinking, who was the brain, who was the hand?
I was the hand. That's what... So each kid would be contemplating what move they're going to play, and they would sit there so nervously, and it was... but basically what happened was, let me think. Basically, we got like knight g5, and I sacked a rook, and everything worked out quite beautifully.
Well, now
there were
it
some
seems
very
you have
painful moments.
Lots of compensation.
Something like this
already.
happened. Something like this happened. Perhaps so basically something like this happened, and we won after sacrificing this piece. And at some point, my team just started saying every single perfect piece. Like, they were reading my mind. We had great synergy. So I was very, very happy with how that game went. Of course, even such a casual game amongst school kids, I take extremely seriously. I'm not messing around, you know. Victory must be attained at all costs.
Any emerging
So I'm glad that
talents out of St. Louis? Any potential applicants to your scholarship, Hans?
I think that, from the club has told me that there's a lot of chess programs. It said almost 100 chess programs. So I'm sure that if you give it some time, there will be some emerging chess talents from St. Louis. The main chess talents from America come out of California and New York, mostly because of the school programs and then the access to tournaments. So I think that maybe a couple more years and we'll start to see some emerging St. Louis talents from the capital, the chess capital of America.
Well, congratulations, Hans. Big victory for you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Our congratulations as well, indeed, Hans.